Welcome back to the Bad Influence Podcast Mindset Monday, where we show you how to take control of your mind. I'm the bad influence you need in your life. Yours truly, Jordan Banderas. Today, we're about to flip the script on anxiety and unlock the secret to transforming worry into the fuel for your success and overall happiness. Because here's the thing, rewiring your anxious brain isn't about coexisting with fear. It's about transforming every jitter into a powerhouse of innovation and drive. So picture this. Every pang of anxiety is not a weakness, but a hidden reservoir of untapped potential, waiting for you to harness it. I know, I absolutely know what it feels like to be trapped in a relentless cycle of worry, paralyzed by doubt and consumed by what ifs. And after everything that's happening around us and everything that is out of our control that is affecting us, I'm sure that a lot of you are worried and are so anxious because of the news, because of everything, because of social media. But here's the truth. The moment you reframe your anxious thoughts as signals for change, you seize control of your destiny. In the darkest moments of my life, when anxiety threatened to drown me, I discovered that each anxious surge was a call to action. Imagine flipping a switch inside your mind, transforming paralyzing fear into a raw, dynamic energy that propels you forward. This isn't wishful thinking, and I want you to understand this. It's a proven strategy that reshaped my life, and it can reshape yours as well. And that's why I'm sharing it with you, because what if you try this and all of a sudden you take control of your anxiety? This can work, but obviously try what works for you. The journey begins by viewing anxiety as raw material, an essential ingredient for breakthrough ideas and relentless progress. I vividly recall a time when every anxious thought felt like a shackle, binding me to a life of mediocrity and inaction. Because when you're anxious, you're not going to act. Because you're going to be afraid of failure, afraid of disappointment. There's going to be so many things going through your head, right? Then, during a particular low point in my life, I confronted my anxiety head on and realized that those same patterns of worry held the key to my determination. Instead of fighting those thoughts, I reframed them as a sign that change was on the horizon. Every jitter was a stepping stone towards redefining my success. Not my family's version of success, not my uncle, my brother, my dad, my mom. No, mine. I began challenging that nervous energy into high intensity creative sprints, turning what once held me back into the spark for explosive growth. I even embraced physical movement, exercise, all that stuff. And I did this in order to shatter the mental fog, transforming anxious surges into bursts of power. This radical shift wasn't about following conventional advice, because not a lot of people actually advise this. So it's not conventional, it's very unconventional. But for some reason, for me at least, unconventional things work better than conventional things. I don't know why. That's how it is for me at least. In this situation, it was about daring to do the unconventional and reaping extraordinary breakthroughs. Every surge of anxiety became a signal, a burst of unfiltered potential that, when channeled correctly, transformed into the engine of my innovation. When anxiety threatened to overwhelm me, I learned to redirect this energy into creative pursuits, turning derailments into launch pads for growth. That's right. It wasn't easy. And I'm going to tell you this right now. It wasn't easy. It was the hardest thing that I have ever done. It was like running like multiple Ironmans or multiple ultra marathons one after the other. It was that tiring. But each step demanded unwavering focus, intense discipline, and a relentless commitment to self-transformation. You have to be committed to do this. If you want to take control of your emotional anxiety, something that is pretty much done because of your emotions, when they're out of control, they can give you anxiety. You have to be committed to taming them. You have to be committed to understanding them. So in this situation, I challenged the stigma around anxiety. I had to do what I had to do in order to control my emotional anxiety. So in this situation, instead of seeing anxiety as a crippling thing for me, instead I chose to see it as a vital ingredient in the recipe for success and happiness. That's right. So by embracing my anxious moments as opportunities for growth, I rewrote my personal narrative from one of weakness to one of power. The key here is learning to distinguish between paralyzing anxiety and the kind that propels you forward. The restless urge to make a change. That's what you need to understand. Recognize that not all anxiety is an enemy. Some of it is your mind's way of signaling that it's time to innovate and to pivot. Experts in neuropsychology emphasize that much of our anxiety stems from worrying about future events that may never occur, or however you say it. This understanding highlights the importance of focusing on the present rather than getting caught up in what ifs, which this is something that a lot of us have done and a lot of you are doing. You guys are getting caught up in what ifs. But here's the thing. Mindfulness and self-reflection became my cornerstones. Daily meditation and honest journaling helped me sift through the noise of anxious thoughts. That's why I always say, hey, why don't you journal? People see that as, that's too quirky or whatever, too corny or some bullshit like that. But at the end of the day, this is going to help you. These practices didn't just calm my mind. They converted raw, jittery energy into crystal clear insights and actionable strategies. Because I was able to see my problems, I was able to read my problems, I was able to understand them better, and then I was like, I can fix this by doing this. That's right. Imagine each moment of anxiety as a spark that, when nurtured, ignites a fire of creativity and progress within you. I took every surge of anxiety and transformed it into the driving force behind my transformative projects that shattered my limitation. That's right. All those limitations were gone after I started doing this. Because when you rewire your anxious brain, you're not eliminating fear. Let's make that clear. You're repurposing it as the catalyst for breakthrough success. You're saying like, okay, there's this fear in my brain. I feel this fear. I feel this anxiety. But you know what? I'm going to use that energy instead of thinking of what ifs, instead of worrying about the future, instead of letting it paralyze me. I'm going to use that energy to move me forward. And that is hard, but it can be done. Why? Because if I was able to do it, anybody else can do it. The only thing that I can tell you is that it is hard. This process demands discipline. That's why it's so hard. A commitment to structure routines, intentional actions, and a relentless pursuit of self-improvement. That's right. That's why a lot of people think this is so hard, because you have to do so many things that make you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to stick to this. But if you do stick to that, guess what happens? Challenge will be seen in the horizon. Now, I challenge you to take a moment, pause, breathe deeply and acknowledge the untapped power of your anxious energy. Every anxious thought is an invitation, a call to break free from old patterns and create a bold, empowered version of yourself. That's right. So let's be blunt right now. We have that type of relationship right now. Let's be blunt. I'm gonna be blunt. I'm a very blunt person. So I'm not gonna stop being blunt. Even because I'm in front of a camera. No, I'm gonna even be more blunt. Too many of us let fear dictate our lives, squandering the incredible potential that lies within our anxious minds. That's right. You are probably doing that right now, or you know somebody that is doing that right now. So today, I challenge you to confront that fear and see it for what truly is: a raw force that can be harnessed for monumental change. Use every surge of anxiety as a stepping stone. Each moment is an opportunity to pivot, innovate, and push beyond your limits. I urge you to channel that nervous energy into immediate action. Start a creative project, solve a problem, or simply write down your thoughts. That's right. You can just write down your thoughts. Picture yourself transforming the very energy that once held you captive into a driving force for success and happiness. What would that do for your life? That's a good question. And only you have the answer to that. So rewiring your brain is not an overnight miracle. And I want you to understand that. It's a daily practice of turning every anxious impulse into a powerful tool for change. But you must embrace practices like mindfulness, meditation, reflective journaling, and creative expression as your daily rituals. These habits are your secret weapons, slicing through the chaos of anxiety to reveal the clarity and potential beneath. I built a system that not only manages anxiety, but uses it to propel me forward. Each day, I transform nervous energy into unstoppable progress. Think about it. What if every anxious moment was repurposed into a burst of creative genius, right? That's something that I have been able to do. My wife, one of the most anxious people I have ever met, is learning about this. That's right. So like I said, it's not just wishful thinking. It's a radical redefinition of what success and happiness can look like when fear is mastered. Now, I'm calling on you to take immediate action. Dedicate just a few minutes each day to mindfulness and deep reflection. Write down your anxious thoughts and then reframe them as calls to action. Turn every worry into a stepping stone towards your dreams. Commit to a routine that channels your nervous energy into creativity. That's right. You can do this. You can also channel it for innovation and relentless forward motion. This is your moment. This is your moment. Rewire your anxious brain for success and happiness now. You can do it because, again, if I was able to do it, why can't you? Simple question. I'm not better than anyone else. I can only be better than myself. And I have been able to learn this and actually learn from it and make it work for me. You can do the same. So stand up, take control, and let every anxious beat propel you towards the extraordinary life you deserve. But don't wait until tomorrow. No. Don't wait until next week. Don't wait until next month. Don't wait until next year. Start today. Start planning how you're going to do this today. And that's it for today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on an episode. And one last thing. If you need your anxiety to be managed via medication or therapy, that is totally fine. You can add this to your current steps and keep moving forward. And have a great day.